Welcome back here with the latest on India Today and news coming in from the Home Ministry. It seems the Ministry of Home Affairs has laid out a new set of rules of engagement in the Kashmir Valley. Coloured water cannons on stone pelters, coloured water leaves lasting purple colour on pelters. Easier to identify and deal with pelters subsequently. Plastic pellets introduced as additional crowd control. Mechanism JKP and CRPF to videograph stone pelters and identify leaders of gangs. Water cannon, tear gas, power shells and only then pellet guns to be used. Stink water and stink bombs not approved by MHA committee. Well, that is the latest coming in. Want to cut across to Gaurav Sawant, Executive Editor. Gaurav, would you give us details? Clearly, a new set of rules of engagement being put in place to deal with the stone pelters in Kashmir.
Preeti, the Supreme Court was upset with the use of pellet guns. A number of people had been blinded, a number of people had been hurt. Now there is a new standard operating procedure in place and we are seeing it in action in the Kashmir Valley. So there are additional levels of deterrence that have been introduced to deal with stone pelters and a violent mob. Water cannons, and that too using near permanent, purple color. So that will help the police identify whether it's stone pelters or those that are dealing with a mob. Additionally, the entire situation will also be videographed for evidence against the stone pelters. Stringent sections of the law will be put on stone pelters in the coming summer months, because in the past 1 year, though several were arrested in the past, they were not dealt with harshly legally, and within weeks or months they'd be out on bail and back to pelting stones. But now there's an effort to ensure that if stone pelters are removed from the streets, then they stay in jail. That is the effort as far as sources in the Home Ministry are concerned. Also, this coloured water is a deterrent. That is what the police believe. It should be a deterrent, but it cannot be used in every situation. When you know there is stone pelting going to happen in any particular area, there you can deploy these big guns and trucks which carry water. But in small lanes and by lanes, that is why the police have now introduced plastic pellets before you use rubber bullets or before you use a pellet gun, in a way to see that tell the pelters thus far and no further, Preeti.
You know, Gaurav, because of course all of this has also come at the back of the criticism and the counter debate on the use of pellet guns. Now, when do the pellet guns be used? When were they used earlier? And how is the plastic pellet different from the pellet guns?
Preeti, a plastic pellet is not half as dangerous as a lead or a metal pellet that is used in a pump action pellet gun. This was introduced in the year 2010. If you recall, stone pelting was extremely vicious even in 2010. But once again, after terrorist Burhan Wani was killed in 2016, these pellet guns were used when a large number of a murderous stone pelting mob came out on the streets, and they could not be contained just by the use of tear gas, because depending on which side is the wind direction, the tear gas vapor would often hit the security forces themselves. So that is when pellet guns were used, but they came in for tremendous criticism as a large number of youngsters either lost their eyesight or some people lost their lives. So in that situation, several additional mechanisms have now been introduced. It's not that pellet guns have been removed. Pellet guns will be used, but they will be used only after a water cannon fails, after plastic bullets or rubber bullets fail, after the chili grenades fail. If the security forces are still unable to push back the stone pelting mob, and after that it becomes threatening to government property or life of security forces, then will a pellet gun be brought out as a second last resort before using an assault rifle. So various mechanisms have been put in place, and because this is then challenged in a court of law, the security forces will also be videographing all these events, under which situation and circumstances was what weapon used.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Gaurav.